You got the main Chiefs Eagles, but then you got Spags versus Hurts or Spags versus Kellen Moore, the soon-to-be Saints head coach. But so on top of stopping Saquon, another big point in this game is stopping the Eagles on third and short or fourth and short. The tush push, where everyone's talking about that. And while many think, because the Chiefs did such a great job stopping Josh Allen's version of the tush push, this should be a piece of cake. But Steve Spagnuolo says it's not.
No.
So here's Spags on Jalen. So we're going to get into two components. We're going to talk about the tush push and why it's different from the Josh Allen tush push, and also just the overall pressure on Jalen Hurts within this topic here. But we're going to begin with the tush push. But here's Spags and Jalen Hurts.
No secrets. Everybody's asking. No secret. I mean, try not to get him in those situations, right? That's the best chance you have. It's really, I mean, we'll try to find a way to get as much big muscle in there we can and knock it back the other way, but they're pretty good at it.
Spags has always done a great job. I got a ton of respect for him. They got great players, great front seven, great defensive back, a very defensive back group, very disruptive group, and so it'll be a great challenge for us.
Last time we played him in this big game, 2 years ago, 2 Super Bowls ago, I thought he was dynamic as a thrower. As talented he is,
absolutely,
the ball, which you have to be concerned about. I just remember all those perfect passes he made to the tight end and some other people. So I look at this quarterback as two-dimensional. He can do both. He can run and throw, and that guy's going to be on point to try to defend.
So, JD, talk about the tush push. We'll start with that, and we'll get into the pressure side of things. But why? Because I've seen a lot of Chief fans, they're saying it's going to be a piece of cake. The tush push, no biggie. We dealt with Josh Allen, who's 6'5", and, who was dominating a lot of teams with the tush push this year. Talk to us, because they're very different, and you can tell us, because you're obviously the professor, we call you. Talk to us about how it's just totally different types of tush pushes, whether the schemes from the Bills and Philadelphia. Why is it so different?
I mean, for me, when I look at them, obviously Philadelphia is known for this whole tush push. It looks a lot like the rugby scrum and whatnot, kind of getting down there and pushing guys forward. They do a great job of just getting low and just driving forward. And all they're trying to do is just get yardage. Jalen Hurts, because of his ability, his strength of his legs. See, here we go. Jalen's lecturing. Thanks, Witchy. Was another factor. But with him being hurt, does that change things? I don't know, somewhat, but he's still strong. He's still a strong guy. And also, too, what we've seen tendency-wise is that against Buffalo, the things they were doing, Josh Allen would prefer one side over another because of their ability on the left side to block. And so maybe that was just his thing. Well, we've seen that. We picked that part out. And so when you see teams kind of trying to adopt this whole like tush push thing, they don't quite get it right like the original. That's why they've been so successful. But like Spags said, try not to get them in that position, in that situation where there is 4th and 1, the 3rd and 1, where you don't have to do that. That's probably the main thing, really. Just try to eliminate as many of those as possible. The thing is, all it does is create a first down. Now, okay, let's play defense, especially where it's going to be probably the most imperative to stop them is down there like on the goal line if they get down the goal line or close to it, right? Because all it does is it just continues a drive going. So I think that's probably what it is. So we'll do there first. So the other part was you were saying with the
So the other side of things was the pressure on Jalen Hurts and how he's probably not one of the best quarterbacks out of this year. And Warren Sharp of Sharp Analytics had a whole thing about that, and I'll put it here for everyone to see. Mm-hmm. So Sharp Analytics, one of the worst. Jalen Hurts, one of the worst quarterbacks when it comes to when he's pressured. Number 37 of 37 quarterbacks in success rate when pressured. 37 of 37 in quarterbacks in EPA per attempt. Number 33 of 37 in quarterbacks in sack rate when pressured. I mean, when we talk about the offensive line, right? We talk about how it's not the same as it was a couple of years ago. A couple of years ago, Jalen Hurts wasn't getting touched. This year, when teams are bringing the pressure, it's just told. I mean, look, the numbers will tell you. The numbers don't lie. You can look at his stats this year. They're not what they were 2 years ago. And yes, the run game's great. Saquon's taken a lot of, he doesn't have to throw as much because Saquon's kind of taken a lot of burden off of him. But these numbers are indicative that if you do get the pressure to his face, you can make things happen. And that's what I think we saw in that Rams game. The Rams could block Jalen Carter for a split more second. Tyler Higbee's in the end zone. We could be facing either Washington or the Rams today or on Sunday. But JD, when you look at these numbers here, what does this tell you about what you want to see, what you think you're going to see from our guy, Steve Spagnuolo?
I mean, it just makes sense to pressure Jalen Hurts. And a lot of it is kind of like some of the route combinations that they run. And if you really don't have a game plan as far as like, okay, do we have any type of short game that we throw the ball to? Is our routes a lot deeper? Or are we running more slants? What are we doing? And so when you bring pressure, we know once we run man, we got to be head-to-head, hands-on a guy. So really the only thing that you can do is maybe throw a ball up. You ain't got enough time to think, especially at deeper routes. Same thing, you got to be on the tight end and make sure he's not getting open. But that's the problem. The problem is you don't really have time to think and time to adjust. And like I said, if you don't have a receiver or somebody you can just throw the ball up to, which they do, but some of the routes that they run as far as combination-wise, at A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and even Goddard, maybe not be conducive to what they do against pressure, right? So now it just makes sense. I think for Spags, it's got to be pick and choose when he does it, right? Don't become predictable when you're pressuring. Okay, he does a good job of disguising who's coming, and I think that for us, it bodes well for us. Really, you could take over a game because what does that do? That makes him throw an inerrant pass. Hopefully, I seen somebody say it earlier that hopefully McDuffie gets one. Yeah, McDuffie, Connor, Watson, Williams, Johnson, Reed. I want everybody to get one. I want everybody to have a chance. Because once you throw that ball up, that's it. One thing Jalen Hurts has also done this year is he hasn't really taken any of the chances to make an inerrant throw, which he's protecting football. And I think he believes, and I'm sure the coaches probably told him, like, listen, look, don't get in a situation where we just give the ball up. If we need to, our defense is so good, we'll just play defense. We'll hold the ball, punt it, okay, and we'll live to fight another day. But that is the mentality, right? Don't put yourself in a situation, but then all of a sudden you turning the ball over to the offense, and give them field position. So that's just kind of smart football. It's kind of smart football. If you don't have it, hey, don't force anything. So,
where's I mean, you've been watching. We've been watching a lot of film last week, and I know you've been watching a lot of film. But where is the weakest link on the Eagles' offensive line? Obviously, the left guard and center, those Jurgens and Dickerson are both hurt right now, but they're going to play and practicing in full. But where is the weakest link on that squad right now?
I think it is going to be probably A and B gap, and obviously the D on the outside too. It's hard to contend for that. The thing is, even with these tackles, if you got somebody that's facing and somebody coming off the side of it, that's going to be hard. And what ends up happening too is that the running back's going to have to come up and pick up one of those guys. So it takes Saquon Barkley or somebody. It takes him out of the equation. So that's it. Good thing about blitzes is everything's exposed. So you can either try to use turn protection, meaning everybody going one way, sliding one way, okay, and somebody going on the backside. You try to control it, like more gap protection, if you will. Make sure guys don't necessarily hit gaps. Holding guys off with two is another thing offensive line can do. Take two. Try to take the hit off the quarterback. Give him time. If you got to throw a leg out there or an arm or something, hey, fine. Guess what? If you need to hold. All right? That kind of sounds antithetical to what you have to do. But, hey, man, if you try to save your quarterback or your running back, do so, right? Don't let nobody have a free hit on your quarterback. So that's on either side.
In that Rams game, obviously, Verse was coming from he was playing the left end, so he was coming against Lane Johnson, and he kind of abused Lane Johnson in that game. The last week against the Commanders, they don't really have much of a pass rush. They were blitzing Luvu a lot. Want to make some quick cash while enjoying the big game with your family and friends? Together with our friends at Underdog, we got a few exciting things to share with you. First, if you've yet to download the Underdog app, do so now and get free cash. Click the link in the description or use promo code CHIEFCONCERNS, that's one word, to claim your free pick plus first-time deposit offer up to 1,000 smackaroos in bonus cash. New users will also get a Travis Kelce free pick for every new customer who signs up on Underdog before the big game. Secondly, for all existing Underdog users, Underdog is offering a no-sweat Sunday entry for all users, which means that everyone will either cash in on their big game entry or get their money back in bonus credit. If you have no idea how to play, well, we got you covered. Over the last 5 weeks, we have given 19 selections and have cashed on 15 of them. Pretty good. Predicting higher or lower on multiple different player statistics. So we are ready to continue this heater into the big game between the Chiefs and Eagles and beyond into the NBA season. So let's make this money and have a damn good time. I think he's really good. I think Luvu's really good. He's awesome.
Yeah.
But they don't really have much of a defensive front as far as the pass rush there. The Deron Payne didn't play that game. Yeah. I don't even think Jonathan Allen played. And that's the reason why they're going. The Commanders are one of the top teams to probably get Myles Garrett this offseason. But just taking that game aside, but just looking at what the Rams did, Jared Verse, we've seen this year they put Jones on the outside sometimes. Obviously, they move him around all over the place. But I could see them really going for that. Jordan Mailata is a badass on the left side. I can really see him going at Lane Johnson because, again, this isn't 2 years ago Lane Johnson. This is a 2 years older Lane Johnson. He's kind of shown it this year throughout the season in spurts. But that Jared Verse game was very eye-opening in many ways to have a rookie come in there and kind of dominate him.
Yeah. I think, you have to do that. I think you have to move Chris Jones around. That is absolutely a problem with teams. You know why? Because that guarantees almost being singled up on the outside against somebody. Lane and Mailata are two good tackles, but they're not Superman. I've seen them both get beat. One thing I would do, I whisper to the referees. They talk about referees on our side. Psst, watch Lane Johnson jumping. Watch him false start. Okay, that's going to be the first thing I do. If I'm one of the coaches, I would tell that referee every time he comes up, watch Lane. He's jumping off sides. He's going too early. Maybe get that on your side, right? So
that's another. I didn't even think about that component of it.
Yeah, man.
We're think about this. 2 years ago, we didn't have Jawan Taylor in the Super Bowl. Now, for the whole world to see, we're going to see Jawan Taylor on one side, and we're going to see Lane Johnson on the other side. Two guys who go pretty early, I would say. Or sometimes right on the snap of the ball. I know with Lane Johnson, they try to say, "Oh man, his guy impeccable timing because he jumps right away." Where it's like Jawan Taylor, he goes early. So there you go. The two biases in one game will be to see in this game because they're calling it on one side and not the other. We're going to see right away how this game's going to go.
That's right. Call it fair, call it consistent. I'm telling you, I would be that coach. Watch Lane Johnson. Even if he's not offside, watch him. He's offside. Look at him, ref. Every chance, man. I'm telling you, every chance I get, I would tell him, whisper to him, Lane Johnson. Just walk by him. He comes down. Lane Johnson jumping outside. Just let him know, man. Just let him know. But I think that's what you have to do. Attack. So even if let's just say they decide to fan out to try to get somebody, we got to make sure, get to the outside and somebody right there in that B gap, okay, between the guard and the tackle as well. Got to hit. So that's what's got to happen, brother.
Do you think there's a world where we see on Sunday where they are calling the offsides and the early starts on Juwan and they're not calling it the other way? Because I could definitely see that because for some reason Lane Johnson never gets called with it, but Jawan Taylor, he's been better about it this year. But we see him get called for every so often. And still fans complain about it online too.
Boy, they do that, man. I can see Jawan Taylor on the other side tearing up. Like, thank you. Appreciate it. I'm not the only one. Thank you. So
they're probably gonna talk before the game. Hey, look, guys, we're gonna call it on both you guys. If you do, we're gonna call it on both of you.
Mm-hmm. It might be Juwan Taylor getting up here and telling, watch him. Look at Lane Johnson jumping off sides.
Yeah, the first time. Actually, gosh, we played them in that Monday night game. I don't remember it being called that much in that game. I think they let it go when we played them that Monday night game last year. So, but this is Super Bowl, so we'll see. I know they love calling that stuff out in the nationally televised game. So we'll see how they go with that. But they really shouldn't be calling it one way and not the other. Don't call it at all, or call it on both sides.
No, they should. I like what Chiefs fan of Dallas says. George said, with two teams this good, but two teams this good, the one who makes the big mistakes loses. I agree with you. I think that's going to be a huge factor in this game. It's protecting the football. We talked about teams that's probably better than the Eagles. I would say the Ravens are better than the Eagles, okay, overall team-wise. The Ravens couldn't get past their mistakes. That's why they're losing. That's why they're sitting at home. That's exactly why. I had a little bit more reticence maybe against the Ravens than I do like the Eagles. Okay. I knew the problems the Ravens was going to present to us. All right. And so they just shot themselves in the foot. That's what they did. So if I could compare a team, I would say probably the Ravens are closer compared to the Eagles than anybody else. But I thought we was going to be able to handle them too. No doubt about it. So it's going to be a good game, man. It's going to be a good game.
Do you think? So Lamar, to me, Lamar is that much better than Jalen Hurts. Do you think is the gap between Saquon and Henry smaller than the gap between Lamar and Jalen Hurts?
Heck yeah.
Okay.
Look, Jalen Hurts is a great quarterback. I love Jalen Hurts. I'm a Jalen Hurts fan.
Yeah.
I'm a Jalen Hurts fan. All right. And Jalen Hurts could throw the football. He can run the football, but he's hurt. He's hurt, man. He's not 100%. Lamar with his legs, man, we know how dangerous he is. We know that. So I'm not going to sit here and act like Jalen Hurts is a slouch. Jalen Hurts is one of the top quarterbacks in the league. Okay. Make no mistake about it. Everybody want to talk about this. Look, let's just be honest here. We can be honest. It's going to be a tough game. It is. So Jalen Hurts is a very capable quarterback. The thing is, if he's hampered by that knee, that changes things significantly for me. I know that. I think Spags understands that too. That's why the game plan is stop Barkley. Why? Because he's going to be handing off more than anything else to this guy. It makes sense. Why would I keep dropping back, put Jalen Hurts in harm's way to get hurt even more? That joker come up limping. You're like, uh-oh. You're going to see the back. Only who's a backup quarterback?
Kenny Pickett.
Oh, shoot. Kenny Pickett? Oh, man.
We'll let Carson Wentz go to the other side of that Eagles jersey to make the game fair.
Kenny Pickett will be running around trying to get his helmet and put it on backwards. That's what I want to see. Bring old Kenny Pickett. Bring him in the game. Just to pick it for 6. How about that? That's what I want to see. Bring Kenny Pickett. Bring his tail in here.
Mr. Small Hands.
Yeah, Kenny Pickett.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.